This story is absolutely hilarious. So this is so funny. So Kamala Harris has been passed the crown now. She's been coronated as the next in the monarchy line of the Democrats. So now that she's had basically become the nominee, the Republicans have been trying to send out some attacks against her. And the ones I've seen so far, I've seen some posts on Twitter basically showing pictures of her looking attractive, or calling her a DEI pick and saying that she's laughing Kamala. So far, they have not had anything actually hit, and I have yet to see something they actually have that they could attack her on. But we have to be careful here because they're just testing out, right? It's kind of like, when like Kendrick drops like that, right? It's like, that's just a test out, right? That's just bait, right? They're obviously not gonna drop the nukes right now. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense. So they're gonna wait, or like push the T with infrared, right? Just bait. It's like just kind of testing the waters. So. But we can say so far they have not found a single effing thing. I've not seen a single possible thing that they can say that is actually legitimately a good attack. But it's so bad, actually, that privately House GOP leaders are telling members to attack Harris on her record, not her race or gender. So they're saying, like, don't bring up her race. Because obviously Republicans are, like, super racist, right? And so basically what's happened is DEI has become the new N-word. And so anytime they see like a black person, anything, they just call them a DEI blank. So the Baltimore mayor, he's like a black man who's the mayor, and then they're just like, oh, look at the DEI mayor. I don't even know what that means. You're just calling him the N-word, dude. Like, that's so. And Republicans really so badly want to be able to say it so badly. I think it was Joy Reid. Someone said like, oh, like. I think Republicans would give up every tax cut in the world to be able to say the N-word. I completely agree. It makes them feel so good and so superior, too. It's hilarious. So it's saying, House Republican leaders have privately told their conference to focus their attacks against Harris on a record. Sources familiar with the conversation tell ABC News. Comes after a number of House Republicans made references to Harris's race and gender when asked by reporters about her bid for the White House. Some, like Representatives Tim Burchett of Tennessee and Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, went as far as calling her a DEI vice president or DEI hire. And so I even saw a different representative just full on say she's like a DEI hire. And saying when House Republicans met behind closed doors on Tuesday, North Carolina Representative Richard Hudson, who is a member of House leadership, warned against making comments about Harris's race, including that she's a, quote, DEI pick, and urged the party to focus on a record per multiple sources in the room. It's notable coming from Hudson, who is the chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee, the House GOP's campaign arm. So, separately, sources also tell ABC News Speaker Johnson has also privately told members to focus on drawing a contrast with Harris's record against the strength of Trump. Johnson has privately and publicly insisted this has nothing to do with race. Some moderate Republicans have been frustrated by comments from others in the party. One member saying pointing out she's not a white man is not a winning campaign message. I bet you there's not that many moderate Republicans saying this. They're probably playing it up in the media. But I would just have to say they're probably not going on her record. I don't really know what they can say about Kamala Harris's record. Again, we have to wait and see because they're just testing the waters right now. They're still in the baby stages. But I'm just not really sure what they can say. Any of the stuff that progressives would go after her for, like, allegedly being a cop or, laughing at legalizing marijuana. Like, she literally laughed at that in 2014. And I think the Republican opponent supported it. But, a bunch of this stuff about her being a cop or whatever, that's pretty much it, right? So all of that stuff, you can't use that as a Republican against her. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to be a potent attack. Like, oh, yeah, she's a police officer. They're going to be like, yeah, and no, you're not supposed to cheer for that. But again, so I think that they have to focus on this because they have nothing else. They literally have nothing else. And she got coronated, right? She's just the default candidate who failed upwards just like Biden did, right? But that's not going to be it's just not going to be a potent or salient attack. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, especially because the energy around someone being not Biden is just so massive. It's overrunning that pretty hardcore. So that's not going to really hit. I really don't know what they're going to do. I'm really not sure how they're going to attack her. I saw one thing being floated was that she's a communist, but I just don't see how you could paint her as a communist. I really can't see it. Maybe, her parents, I think, are both communist and Marxist, so maybe they'll try to jump on that, but how much can you really use someone's parents against them? Not really sure. I mean, I would say wide swaths of the population have like very different views from their parents, and nobody should have views of their parents used against them. It's just extremely bizarre. Like, it was super weird. Did you imagine that? Like, think of all the crazy shit that your parents believe or say, and it's like somehow that's put on you. What the fuck? Doesn't make any sense. And so I genuinely just don't know what they're going to do, and I'm trying to like rack my brain to figure it out. And I just think they might not have anything, bro. I mean, all they really had for Joe Biden was Hunter Biden, his son, right, that was a big, like, sort of mill, right? That was sort of like a free mill. And then the other thing being Sleepy Joe, but that was obviously a massive failure. So I don't know what they're going to have for Kamala. She's obviously very oozing with excitement and all of her rallies. It's just a little bit scary, to be honest. It's crazy seeing this from 2020, man. This is wild, dude. Politics is completely insane. But she's obviously, very excited to be holding this power. But I don't see what they're going to have. And so, obviously, your party, like everyone who tries to say that the Republican Party is not racist or whatever, if you have to circulate a memo inside of your party saying, hey, guys, stop being racist, stop being sexist, that is not indicative that your party is not racist. And I think the Republican Party does have a lot of racism. I don't think every Republican is racist, but there are very, very significant swaths of racist people in the party. And I think that this whole DEI thing is their greatest gift, because now they can just say the N-word without actually saying it. They can just say DEI, whatever, right? And so this is not going to work, and I'm curious what they're going to do. And I'm not really sure what record they're going to, they're going to harpen on with Harris. I'm not really sure what record they're going to tap into. I'm not sure. So it'll be super interesting, but it's interesting to see behind the scenes what's going on with the race. But yeah, I guess they can't really talk about her without saying anything about race, which is hilarious.